Same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little rest or stretch, stop and rest, stop and stretch, and then join in again when you're ready to do so. Use your props, the ball, if you have the ball, otherwise a cushion, towel, rolled up towel will work the same. And then a band if you have one, otherwise you can use the strap, a belt, anything that you can use instead of the band to assist, especially with the legs. So if you're seated, trying to find that nice lifted seated position, so making sure that I'm not slumping forward, I'm not compressing down the front of the body, preventing the diaphragm, the big breathing muscle from moving. So see if I can give myself as much space as possible for the diaphragm to be able to move up and down inside of the ribcage and then create a nice to relax the breath. If you're laying down, just using the mat to help you relax completely onto the mat. Feeling the belly raising, expanding out with the inhalation, and then just relaxing with the exhalation. So I'm not consciously trying to push the belly out. I'm just letting the breath do that. As I inhale, I can feel it expanding. And then as I exhale, I can feel it relaxing. And then at the same time, as you keep that nice, relax the belly breath going, see if you can start noticing the body. So how is the pressure? If I'm laying down, how does the pressure at the back of the body feels? Is it even left and right side? If I'm seated, just comparing the pressure between my right and my left seat bones. Is it the same? Is it slightly different? Does it feel as if I'm leaning to the right, leaning to the left? Is my head centered? Is it slightly off to the side? Is it slightly turned to one side? Is there any tension? Is there any discomfort or pain anywhere within the body? So just noticing where the body is and how I feel to begin with the session. Once that I feel a little bit more settled, I feel the breath is a little bit more relaxed and the body feels that little bit calmer, then I'm going to start focusing on the back. Starting from the neck down, I'm going to start with rotation. So same as usual, I'm going to turn the head to look over one shoulder, using my way back to the center, and then I'm going to turn to look the other way. I'm not forcing anything, so I don't want anything to pinch or catch. I'm trying to keep it as loose, as relaxed as I can. Making sure that, especially if you're sitting up, with the corner of your eye, check that your shoulders are not moving. As it's very tempting, if the neck is tight, to start turning the shoulder girdle instead of the head. So think of the shoulder staying still, and that the head is just a turning on top. So I feel that the turn to the right feels a little bit stiffer, the one to the left feels smoother. So I'm going to try and focus on that right turn. Can I kind of like adjust slightly the position of the head, like the position of my chin? Can I find a better fit in between the two vertebrae at the top, at the very top of the neck, the ones that allow that rotation? So can I try and find the two bits of the puzzles that match perfectly to encourage a better movement? 4, 3, 2, 1. Then on the next one, I'm going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder. I'm going to keep it there. With the left arm, I'm going to reach away as if I was trying to touch, I don't know, the floor or the skirting board to my left. I'm going to reach as far as I can until I can feel a gentle stretch that almost like starts from the front of the shoulder and then comes up around the side of the neck towards the ear, towards the jaw. I'm going to hold it steady there. I'm going to extend the wrist, so I'm going to pull the back of the hand up towards the forearm, and then I'm just going to play with the position of the hand. So I'm going to turn it back slightly, turn it forward slightly. See if I can notice how the stretch changes. See if I can find the stretch that works the best for my neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease it there, keep it there. I'm going to now tap the chin down towards the shoulder. So imagine with the tip of your nose to be touching the shoulder. So I'm going to tuck the head in and then holding it there. I can feel the stretch a little bit more onto the back of the neck. There shouldn't be any pain. I'm going to keep that tension, keep the traction with the left arm. And then if I feel that I can make the stretch a little bit stronger with the right hand, I'm going to scoop around the back of the head. And then I'm just going to gently pull the chin a little bit closer to the shoulder, to the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to release the tension from the arms. I'm going to pick up the head. I'm going to turn it back to the middle, adjusting the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then I'm going to try the same thing for the other side. So turning the head to look over to the left. With the right arm, I'm going to reach down and away. I'm going to extend the wrist, so pulling the back of the hand towards the forearm. Then I'm going to play with the position of the hand to see if I can find again that nice stretch from across the front of the chest. It's moving up into the side of the neck, the side of the ear. And then holding it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to tap the chin down, bring the nose down towards the shoulder. And then if I feel that I can make the stretch a little bit stronger, then with the left hand, I'm going to scoop around to the back of the head. And I'm just going to ease the head down gently. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease the tension through the arms, and bring the head up, and turn it back to the middle. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Just a little bit more movement through the neck. I'm going to just go a little bit more side to side. Testing my rotation, noticing if there has been any change. And then returning the head back to the middle, I'm going to get into a little lateral flexion. So this time, instead of turning to look around, I'm just going to drop my right ear down towards the right shoulder. And then the left towards the left. So right to right. Left to left. Same as you did for the rotation. So if you can make sure that it's the head that's moving towards the shoulder, or the shoulder that's kind of like shrugging up to the head. So see if I can keep the shoulders down. See if I can keep the shoulders relaxed. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release it back. Return the head back to the middle. And then I'm going to change the direction one more time, going into a little forward flexion and extension. So if you're lying down, use the mat to guide you. If you're sitting up, imagine your back and your head to be against the wall. I'm going to tuck the chin in, so I'm going to get into a little skull rock. I'm going to tuck the chin into the back of the throat, just as if I was trying to give myself a double chin. I'm going to lengthen into the back of the neck. Then I'm going to let the chin come forward, and then I'm going to lift it up. So I'm going to try and extend the throat. Opening up into the front of the throat. Then I'm going to tuck it in again. 2, all the way back, and then forward, and then up again. So see if you can be aware of the back of the neck and lengthening. So if you're lying down, it's easier to feel as I've got the feedback coming from the mat. As I push the chin down towards the throat, I can feel the back of my neck is getting closer to the floor. So I'm trying to flatten it against the mat. And then as I lift the chin away, I can feel the back of my neck lifting away from the mat. I can feel the throat opening up. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, adjusting the position of the head, again giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. I'm going to retest the rotation, so same as before. I'm just going to turn the head just a few times from side to side, again noticing if it feels any different, and then returning the head back to the middle. I'm going to center the head back. And then I'm going to start focusing on the upper back, on the thoracic spine. I'm going to start with the flexion extension. So I'm going to reach that. If I'm lying down, I need to support the head. So I'm going to reach my hands behind the head. And then tucking the chin to the chest, I'm going to lift the head and the shoulders. I'm going to try and curl my upper body as much as I can. Then I'm going to release back down. Then lifting the chest up and towards the ceiling. Think of the back of your rib cage falling away from the mat. Then I'm going to ease down, and then I'm going to curl my way forward, curl my way up, and then releasing back. If you're seated, think of the movement coming from your thoracic spine, coming from your upper back. I'm going to start going into a little flexion. So I'm going to kind of like round and punch the shoulders. And then I'm going to go into extension. I'm going to throw the shoulders back, lift up and open up through the front of the chest. I'm going to come forward into flexion and then back into extension. Rounding. And then lifting, opening up in the front. So see if I can try and keep that movement as loose, as relaxed as I can. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders again, resetting the back, and then I'm going to change the direction of the movement. And from flexion extension, I'm going to go into lateral flexion. So imagine your back to be against the wall. I'm going to allow the arms to relax by the side. And then I'm just going to slide my way down one side. Then I'm going to ease my way back. And then I'm going to slide it down the other way. Making sure that the hips are staying solid on the chair. It doesn't feel as if my hips are lifting off the chair. So think of, as I flex to the right, think of lengthening the left side of the body. And then as I flex to the left, I think of a nice lift coming up the right side. If you're down on the floor, the same as before, you might want to support the head. So as I reach down the right side with my left hand, I'm going to support the head, taking the knee. As I reach down the left with that hand, I'm going to support the head, moving the other way. So from the center to the side, from the center to the side the other way. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Last time. And releasing back. Giving the head a gentle roll, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the belly, adjusting the back, and then I'm going to change the direction one more time. So I'm going to left with rotation. So whether you're seated or lying down, bringing the arms to the front and clasping the hands together. Then I'm just going to start to swing the arms around to the right and then over to the left. So if you're lying down on the back, you are rolling from shoulder to shoulder, making sure that the hips are not moving. If you're seated, take advantage of the space. So I've got nothing behind me to prevent me from going further. So see if I can really try and take a nice swing around to the back to the middle, a nice reach around to the other side, and then come back to the middle again. Just make sure that the shoulders are keeping down. Don't find yourself shrugging the shoulders up to your head, or the shoulders up to your ears. Side to center. From side to center. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So a little bit more movement through the spine, thoracic spine. I'm going to see if I can start creating a little bit more down into the lumbar, so down at the bottom of the spine. I'm going to start off with a little pelvic tilt. So think of the lower back rounded. So I'm going to tilt the pelvis back. I'm going to seated. I'm going to roll back onto the back of my seatbelt. So roll back onto my tailbone. I'm going to ground the lower back. And then I'm just going to bring myself back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt and releasing that tilt. Tilt and releasing the tilt. So see if I can release any tension, any stiffness down from the very bottom of the spine. If you're lying down, even easier feedback is, again, I've got the mat underneath. Imagine to be pressing your lower back flat against the floor. So I'm going to press it down flat, and then I'm going to come back into neutral. Press it down flat, and then come back into neutral without forcing. Just think of a nice, relaxed movement. Just massaging the back of the hips, massaging the back of the pelvis and the lower back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Adjusting the hips, or releasing the hips, or relaxing the back. And then I'm going to change the direction of the movement one more time. From that pelvic tilt to the anterior posterior tilt, I'm going to go into a little hip hitch. So if you're lying down, keep the back of the hips flat against the floor. You're going to hitch the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, the left towards the left. So I'm going to go for a little side to side movement, feeling the side of the belly, creating that little pull to allow the hitch, to allow the hip to move up towards the side of the rib cage. If you're seated, imagine to be walking your seat bones up and down the chair. So using the arms for support if I need to, and then I'm just going to hitch up on the right, come back, hitch up on the left, back, pull up on the right, down, pull up on the left, down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Adjusting the hips or recentering the hips or recentering the pelvis if you need to do so. So we got a nice good movement through the whole of the spine from the cervical all the way down to the lumbar. I'm going to start focusing on hips and shoulder joints. Starting with the hip joint first, what I want is to try and wake up my hip flexors, my adductors, my abductors, and then my hip extensors at the back. So I'm going to start off with the adductors. I'm going to place the ball between the knees. Cushion towel. And then I'm going to start to squeeze in the ball. So I'm going to press into the ball as hard as I can, as if I was trying to pop the ball. And then I'm just going to ease that pressure. Same as usual, as I squeeze hard into the ball, see if you can be aware of the inner thigh tensing to create that squeeze. Notice if one side is squeezing harder than the other. So making sure that the movement looks even, both legs are coming in the same amount. And then I'm just going to ease them back. Using the hands to guide them if I need to do so. Or just relaxing the arms if I feel that I've got a good connection. I can feel both inner thighs working. The leg seems to be moving exactly the same amount, or pretty much the same amount, just so I don't need my hands to help. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one, I'm going to hold that squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Relaxing the hip, releasing the inner thigh. From the inside of the leg, I'm going to move to the front of the leg, front of the hip. So if you're seated, the leg is reasonably close, so I can put my hands directly on the thigh. If you're laying down, the leg is a little bit further, so to avoid straining the shoulder, you can put the ball between the leg and the hands. So I'm going to put the ball on top of my right thigh, and then I'm just going to squeeze it in there. if I'm seated, I can still use the ball, or I can just put the hands directly on the leg, on the thigh. And then what I want at the same time is to push away with the hand. So push down with the hand and then squeeze up with the leg. So I'm trying to get the front of the hip to turn on. So I want to feel the muscles right there at the front of the hip, the hip flexors tightening. So I can feel them almost like a guitar strings, that they get quite stringy in there. See if I can find that tension. So I'm going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then last one, I'm going to hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing that leg, I'm going to switch to the left. So placing the hands or placing the ball between the left leg and the hands, and then I'm just going to start squeezing. Up with the leg, down with the hands. Release, and then squeeze in again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then last one, I'm going to squeeze and fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hip or releasing the leg. It's a little bit more activation into the front of the hip. I'm going to move on to the side of the leg now. So grabbing hold of your band, tie the band around the knees. As usual, if it's not an elasticated one, so if it's a strap, keep it a little bit looser so that you've got a little play for the legs to be able to move inside of that loop. I'm going to create a little loop. And then I'm going to start pushing out with both legs. So I'm going to pull out onto the band as hard as I can. And then I'm just going to ease my way back in. So I'm going to pull out onto the band as hard as I can. And then ease my way back in. And that's if I've got a stretchy band. If I've got the belt, so if I've got a solid band with no give, then I'm going to try and push out to try to make the belt as tight as possible. And then I'm just going to release that tension. I'm going to push out to make the belt as tight as possible and then release that tension. So see if I can be aware this time of the tension being on the outside of the hip, right? To the side of the hip, to the side of the butt. And then same as before, I feel that I need a little bit of guidance. I might use the hands, guide the legs in the direction that I want them to travel, that I want them to go. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And then last one, I'm going to hold with that outward tension for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg, and then changing the effort, taking it into the back of the leg. So I'm going to, if I'm seated, bring the feet just a little bit closer to the chair. What I want you to do is to just lean forward and then push down into the feet as hard as you can. So really try to feel that tension coming up the legs. And I'm going to ease the pressure, and then again, I'm going to push down hard and relax. Push down hard and relax. If you're laying down, exactly the same thing. So I'm going to keep the feet just about hips width apart. I'm going to push through the feet and release. Push through the feet and release. See if I can start encouraging that connection around the hips and into the back of the bum. Feeling the hips are tightening as I push down through the feet. Not lifting, I'm not bridging. I'm just trying to get the connection into the back of the legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one, I'm going to keep digging my feet down into the floor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
One, and release. Relaxing the hips or releasing the legs. So a little bit more connection around the hip. See if I can find the same around the shoulder joint. So I'm going to allow the arms to come down by the side. And then I'm going to start off with front raises. So raising the arms up to the front. I'm going to take them up, take them back as far as I feel comfortable going. Then I'm just going to ease them back by the side. If I'm laying down, I'm working with gravity, so it makes it easier to move the arm, unless there is some issue with the shoulder that makes it catch, makes it pinch. If I'm seated, the arm is heavier as I'm working against the gravity. So gravity is pulling me down and I'm trying to lift the arms up. So it doesn't matter if I can lift the arms are very high. Just make sure that however high they're going, I'm not shrugging the shoulders to take them there. So I'm not putting tension into the neck. So see if I can keep the neck loose. I can keep my head moving. There is no tension into the neck as the arms are coming up to that lift. And then I can feel my left shoulder is a bit sore. My right shoulder is a little bit sore. So I'm just going to follow that arm, making sure that I'm lifting just as far as that shoulder is still happy. So no pain. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And releasing down. Relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the arms, and then I'm going to go for a lateral raise. This time, instead of moving both arms together, I'm going to go one arm at a time. So I know that my left shoulder is a bit sore. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to that left side, or my right shoulder. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to that side. So I'm going to turn the palm to face away from the body, scooping the arm round the side, and then bring it up into that lateral raise. Squeezing the arm back and then scooping the other arm around the side, bringing it up towards the head, and then taking it down again. So nice and easy, same as usual. I want the movement to be as wide as possible. So I'm trying to keep the arm right by the side. But I might find that doesn't suit my shoulder. So I'm just trying to find an angle, allowing the arm to come slightly forward to the body line. That is not upsetting the shoulder, that's not creating that grinding, that pinching, that pain as I'm moving the arm. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. And then I want a little bit more connection, this time into the front of the chest and into the back. So I'm going to start off with the front of the chest. So I'm going to grab hold of my ball, my cushion. I'm going to bring it to the front. Keep the hands nice and flat, or keep the wrist nice and flat, making sure that I'm not extending the wrist, so I'm not creating pressure into the wrist that way. Try to keep the wrist locked. And then I'm just going to start squeezing the ball. As you're squeezing the ball, think of squeezing the arms together. I'm just going to try and squeeze tight and release. Squeeze tight and release. Squeeze tight and release. As you're squeezing, see if you can be aware of the tension right across the front of the chest. So the muscles here onto the chest are tightening to create that squeeze. And then as usual, I feel that one side feels a little bit stronger than the other. I'm going to focus on the side that doesn't feel as strong. See if I can try and connect it a little bit better. Now, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it back. Releasing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, pushing the ball to the side, and then working into the back muscles. Whether you're seated or lying down, I'm going to bend the elbows and then I'm going to bring the arms roughly at shoulder level, shoulder height. Now, if I'm seated, I've got space behind me, so I'm going to push the elbows towards the wall behind me. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together, and then I'm just going to release. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together, and then release. Squeeze them together, and release. If I'm laying down, I don't have the same space. What I'm going to do instead is same position, so the elbows are bent, roughly in line with the shoulders. I'm going to push the arms into the floor. I'm going to try and squeeze the back and release. Push the arms into the floor, squeeze the back and release. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. If you're laying down, rolling over onto the side, and in your own time, pushing yourself all the way back up to the top. Finding a comfortable seated position. Leaning against the wall, leaning against the sofa. This is something that is not going to slide off or slide away. And then finding the seat to see if I can try and lift myself nice and tall over the seat. Same as we did at the beginning, I'm going to try and find the space at the front of the body, but this time I'm going to exaggerate the space. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to start rolling the shoulders back. I'm going to push the chest forward, and then I'm going to start lifting up. I'm going to take the head up. I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to try and look back as far as I can. Then releasing, coming forward, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders to come forward, rolling your way down as far as you feel that you can go. And then I'm curling back up again. Nice big lift at the front, and drawing the shoulders back and drop them down. Push the chest forward, lift it up, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then release into the front again. Letting the chin come down to the chest and the shoulders forward. The rib cage rounding back as much as you can. Last time. Extending up as much space as you can. Lifting through the chest, the shoulders back, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing your way back to the front. Allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders to come forward. One hand to the belly. One hand to the back. Take your bow. Give yourself a bow.